I know that sounds almost too easy, but I promise you it really can be that easy. Hey guys, Tierra here with Dot Girl Fitness, and this week's video is all about how to make new friends as an adult living in a brand new city. Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Tierra, a first-year pediatric gastroenterology fellow who makes videos about medicine, lifestyle, and fitness. If this sounds like something you may enjoy, make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. After living in the same city for the first 25 years of my life, then moving only a couple of hours away from my family and still nearby to a lot of my close friends for the 3 years of residency, this is the first time in my entire life that I have lived halfway across the country from anybody that I know and love. My husband and I moved here 6 months ago, and after moving to a brand new city, a brand new state, and starting a brand new program now as a fellow physician, it was a very, very large change, and I was really nervous about what that would look like in terms of finding new friends in the area. When I tell you we knew nobody here, I mean we genuinely knew no one. I had a couple of people that I had met over the years and had been close with a long time ago. Like each person, we were close at some point over a decade ago, but that's 2 people. They don't live nearby, and it's not like we're still that level of closeness that we were over a decade ago. If I were to see them, I would of course give them a huge hug, and I of course was very willing and excited to rekindle those friendships, but I would say I genuinely came here essentially knowing nobody and having to start over as it relates to making new friends entirely from scratch. Now that I've been here for about 6 months, I have an incredible group of people that I really vibe with and I really get along with. And I feel like I've picked up a few things over the past few months that have really helped me create this good group of people that I've surrounded myself with and have really inspired me to continue to meet new people as I continue throughout my training here. This can especially be scary for medical trainees who are starting in a new place because typically whenever you move to this new area, it's not like you're going to be there for a couple of months. You're there for years. And I'll be training here in my role as a fellow for the next 3 years. So it was quite imperative that I really worked on my social skills and I could really start working on creating new connections with new people. Of all the things I've picked up from the past few months of trying to meet new people, these are the 5 top tips I have for trying to make new friends as an adult living in a brand new city. My number 1 tip to anybody looking to make new friends as an adult is to assess whether or not you're really in the right headspace to meet new people. If you're a medical trainee or anybody who's starting a new job in a new place as an adult, that is a very large transition. And it's something that you really need to decide within yourself if it's in alignment with you being in the right headspace to meet new people and start new friendships and start hanging out with people. Some people are very extroverted and thrive off of those connections with people right off of the bat. And some people like me are not that way. And I personally really like to take my time. I am an introvert at heart. And so I really wanted to ease into my transition here before starting to meet new people because my husband and I really just wanted to get to know the area first and really get acclimated, get settled into our new place and start to learn more about our new jobs here, and then go from there as it relates to meeting new people. Whatever that timeline looks like for you, don't rush it because you want to make sure you're in the right headspace to meet new people because once you start to foster those friendships, you want to make sure that you're an equal contributor to the friendship, and you can't really do that if you aren't starting off on the right foot. Alright guys, my next tip is to approach and be approachable. This one, depending on who you are, can be really, really hard because it involves you having to go outside of your shell, outside of your comfort zone, and go up to strangers, go up to people you don't know, and try to start a conversation. I personally would try to do this in ways that feel more organic, and for me that works by trying to find a level of common interest. An example of this would be one day I was walking down the hospital wards and I saw a woman who had the most beautiful natural curly hair, and I personally am always trying to find tips and tricks for how to make my curly hair look the absolute best it can be for work every single day. So I approached her, let her know how I loved her hair and I loved her hairstyle, and I used that commonality in our natural hair care to try and learn more about ways that she makes her hair look her absolute best, And then before you know it, we were talking about some of our favorite hair care brands, exchanging numbers, and trying to find a time and place outside of the workplace to learn more about each other and try to start a friendship. I know that sounds almost too easy, but I promise you it really can be that easy. Most people are just excited and happy that somebody else is kind enough to approach them and take a moment out of their day to put that first foot forward. I know it can be really scary, but I really think you would be genuinely surprised by how many people would be so excited to talk to you if you just made that first step and made yourself approachable and approached people every now and again. Times in which I try to avoid approaching people are typically whenever they're in conversation with other people or when they are very clearly very busy. I don't want to seem annoying to anybody, so I'm not going to go up to anybody when they're in the middle of doing something and get them sidetracked or add anxiety to their day. But if I feel like they seem like they're in a good position and they can take a moment to have a genuine conversation with somebody, then I will take that opportunity to try and spark up a conversation. One way I choose to be approachable outside of the workplace is by studying in places where other people can feel comfortable approaching me. It's very common for people my age to be out and about, typically studying in coffee shops, and I personally absolutely love studying in coffee shops. My husband does too. So we'll go to coffee shops and we'll study, and that is another place I have met new people who will see me studying for something or will see a sweatshirt that I'm wearing when I'm studying, ask me about it, we spark up a conversation, and before you know it, I have a new potential friend, and if at all else, I have at least a new point of contact to learn more about my new area. This kind of brings me into my next point about how to meet new people, and that's by joining social media groups. Social media groups, such as ones that are titled based off of the area that you're new to, or something titled 20-somethings in this area, is a really great way to learn more about the area that you live in and to also learn more about where people are that are also trying to meet new people. There are tons of people in these groups who are just trying to make new friends just like you, and you'd be surprised by the number of people who will say something like, hey, there's a hot girl walk happening in this location at this time. All the females who are between these ages who want to come and meet new friends, meet at this place and time and come make new friends. And now you're combining things. You're meeting new people, you're having fun, you're getting physically fit, and you're learning more about the area that you live in. Just make sure to be careful whenever you're meeting new people on social media groups and do a little bit of digging yourself about the area. I also don't recommend necessarily going anywhere alone because you want to be safe, especially if you're living in a new city where you don't know anybody. If you don't have a friend that can go with you, if you at least have a friend of a friend and or a mutual point of contact, whether that be from work or any other part of your daily life that you are acclimated with in this new city, then feel free to move forward and meet those people. But I repeat, safety first. In addition to these social media apps like Facebook groups, lean on the other apps. I have tons of friends who have used apps like Bumble Friends, I think that's what it's called, or other apps like this to meet new people and make new friends. And I genuinely know people who have made lifelong friendships, people who have been bridesmaids in their weddings and plus ones to their family events from different apps like this. It may not seem as organic of a way to make a friend, but talk about intentionality. You are showing up in a space knowing that your intention is to meet new people and make new friends, and so is every other person who is trying to make friends on that app. And with that in mind, you're entering into it with this positive attitude, knowing that whoever you meet on there is somebody who's probably going to be willing to put in work into your friendship. And that's always really nice to know. Okay, now I know I said there are 5 tips, but there are really 3 with 2 to follow up after you've started to make new friends using the first 3 tips that we talked about. So we have our 3 ways that we're going to use to make our new friends. And now that we're starting to create these bonds, these last 2 tips are how to continue to foster these friendships and make them genuine friendships that are long lasting, as opposed to things that fizzle out so you don't have to keep having to go through the same level of work every few weeks to meet new people. You still can do that. And if you're an extrovert, you probably will want to. But if you're more of the kind of person who likes to find a good group of people and really settle in, these last 2 tips are the ways that you can do that and be intentional about continuing into the friendships that you've already started to create. The first way that you can do that is by planning ahead. Anybody who is an adult who is starting a new job in a new city, and if you're like me who also has a spouse, your time is probably pretty limited to spend not only making new friends, but also keeping new friends. By planning ahead, you really set yourself up for success, for consistency, and for continually showing up for these new people in your life. As a fellow physician, I may not always know my day-to-day, but I at least know several weeks to months in advance what my schedule looks like, and I therefore know what weeks I'm going to be more busy than others. Knowing that ahead of time, I can already tell people ahead of time, hey, I already know this time probably isn't going to work for me, or hey, this time probably will work really, really well. By setting expectations and planning ahead of time, you help the new people in your life understand the reality of what your busy schedule is like, and it helps them have reasonable expectations for the level of involvement that you'll be able to have with them moving forward. And my final tip that I feel like has really helped continue to foster relationships with new people is to never say no twice in a row. I know it sounds cheesy, but I'm telling you, it's so true. If you want to continue friendships that you've created with new people, you want to try to avoid never saying no twice in a row. Now, that may not be feasible for you. Planning ahead may not be as easy, which could mean that canceling on people is something you do more frequently. And so maybe you'll have to adjust that to never say no 3 times in a row or never say no 4 times in a row. But I will promise you, what I have noticed is that if I say no more than twice in a row to somebody that I'm trying to start a new friendship with, I typically don't hear from that person again, or I hear from them a lot less often. And it's not because of them, it's just because it's really hard to continue to put yourself out there with new people, especially if you're doing all of that work to put yourself out there and they're continually canceling on you. It's hard for people who are already putting in the work to plan ahead and make plans with you ahead of time, and then you bail on them, or you can't commit to multiple engagements in the future. And so if they're really intentional about trying to meet new people, they will likely give that opportunity to other people who may be more available. And if you're not as available, that's okay. Maybe this is not the time where you need to be as available to people. Or maybe that person wants somebody who's available more often and you're just not the person to fill that role for them. And that is a-okay. But if you really want to continue to foster a relationship with other people and you want to continue to show up for them, I personally make it my goal to not say no more than twice. Sometimes that means going out when I don't feel like it, and sometimes it means doing something I don't necessarily want to do, but it pushes me outside of my comfort zone and it shows somebody else that I'm willing to do something for them. And maybe that means that if there's something that I want to do later on in the future, maybe they would be more willing to do it if they otherwise wouldn't be. These tips are great and I really hope they help you out, but one thing I don't want you to forget is to continue to foster the friendships that you already have. Just because you're miles away from home or you're in a brand new city, even if it's not that far from home, you want to continue to let the people that you already know and love know that you know and love them so much. And it doesn't matter how far of a distance you are away from them, you're willing to continue to put in your best foot forward. Whatever that means, just show up in whatever way you can. For me, I have a little bit more time in fellowship than I did in residency, and I'm using that time not only to make new friends, but to really foster the friendships I've had over the years by way of both electronic and written communication. I do weekly group FaceTimes where we plan fun activities with a group of my friends from college. I'm pen pals with another one of my friends from college. I even have a friend who lives in another country now, and anytime I'm off service and I know that I'm available in a morning hour when it's evening where she lives, I make sure to FaceTime her and we catch up on all the stuff that we've missed. And I've consistently made an effort to do this all throughout my fellowship. It does take a lot of planning, especially while also trying to make new friends. And of course, keeping up the other things in my life as they relate to work and all of the other things that go along with life. But I feel like my life is so much more enriched and fulfilled by putting in that effort and being more intentional about those friendships. Creating those connections for me has created a good vibe tribe of people who I can lean on in times of need and who know they can lean on me in those same instances. But that's pretty much it, guys. Those are the 5 tips I have for ways to make new friends as an adult in a brand new city. What are some of the ways that you make new friends as an adult in a brand new city? Let us know in the comments section below. Also, make sure to tune in for next week's video, which is a vlog. And while we wait for next week, make sure to check out my Instagram and my TikTok pages, because in between each of these week's YouTube videos, I try to stay consistent with daily content on both of those platforms. In the meantime, if you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you have any questions or you just want to chat, make sure to let me know in the comment section below. And if you like videos about medicine, lifestyle, and fitness, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time.